Docker makes it really easy to run stateful services. You write a compose file, start a container, and suddenly you've got Postgres, Redis, maybe some side projects you forgot about 3 months ago. And that's great, until you ask the question that matters. If this server dies tomorrow, what actually survives? Because Docker is excellent at making containers reproducible. It is not by itself a backup strategy. The container and image are disposable. The thing that only matters is the actual data. So in this video, I want to show you a simple backup setup for Docker hosted services. We're going to use Postgres as the example, but the real lesson is about Docker itself, where the state lives, how to back it up automatically, and how to ship it off site with rclone and Backblaze B2. Nothing fancy, just a small bash script, a schedule, a system you can actually trust. So for this example, let's go ahead and actually list our Docker containers that are running. I'm going to do a quick Docker PS, and I'm going to format it as a table where I can show the names and the images, something like this. So as you can see, I have 3 database containers in here. 2 of them are Postgres, one of them is MySQL, and it really doesn't differ that much. The tool that we're going to use is called pgdump for Postgres, but for MySQL, you can use MySQL dump, and you can learn more about that in the video in the description below. Just apply the same code style to the code that we're going to write, but for the MySQL flavor. So for this scenario, we're going to use a Docker command called exec, which executes a command inside an already running container. So the basic idea is you already have a container running, and instead of starting a new container, Docker injects a process into that existing container. For example, I can just go ahead and do Docker exec, and I pass in the actual container name. And in here, I can run commands. So for example, I can do ls var lib postgres data. And this is going to list all of the files that exist in this directory inside the container. And sometimes it's often used for admin tasks. So for example, you can open an interactive shell inside your container by doing a docker exec -it for interactive shell, and then the name, jury b1, and then bash. So this will run bash inside the actual terminal. And in here, if I do a quick ls, you can see that this is the actual Docker container, and I have access to everything inside of it, which is really neat. The Docker container for Postgres usually comes with a tool called pgdump, which is a backup utility that we can use. So let's exit out of our container, and let's go ahead and do a quick example dump directory and navigate into it. All right, so now we can run a quick pgdump just to see if it's working. Let's go ahead and do a docker exec and pass in our actual container name, and then we can pass in the arguments after that which commands that we want to run. So I'm going to run pgdump using the jury user, and I'm going to run it on the jury database, and let's pipe that out to a database dump file. Now we can do a du-h and on all the current files of this directory, and I'll see that the database dump is actually 5.1 megabytes. What we can do is we can actually run that same command using the custom format for pgdump, which is a really good format that allows you to do parallel restores, and it's faster and more size efficient. So let's do actually pass the fc command, pass the fc argument, and let's test it with fc. And let's see now a size comparison between the two. As you can see, using the fc flag, it's much smaller. We can also optimize this even more by doing a quick pipe into gzip and then write it to database-fc-gzip dump.gz. And now if we do that again, it's not that much different, but when the database is big enough, this will make a difference. Let's go ahead and do a stat quickly just to make sure that there is a small difference in size, at least, between the two. As you can see, it is a bit smaller than without the gzip flag, but on large databases, this can be a meaningful difference. All right, what we should do now is upload this backup to a remote storage to ensure that it's offsite and we can access it in case we don't have access any longer to the local version of this backup. And for this example, I have chosen my storage provider to be Backblaze. I'm also going to use a utility called rclone. Rclone allows you to easily copy your files into any storage destination that you prefer. I have already configured my rclone in here, so it's going to be rclone lsd, rclone lsd jury backup. And as you can see, I have the jury backups bucket chunked right here, which is this one. So all we need to do is just run a quick rclone copy, and we copy the backup. What is it called? A database fc.dump.gz into jury backups, and this is going to copy it directly into my Backblaze bucket. Let's go ahead and browse the files in here, make sure that this has been copied successfully. And as you can see, it's right there. All right, that's awesome. So now we have a backup stored somewhere else, but this is not automated, and we cannot just rely on remembering to do this every day. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to write a quick little script that will be automated that we can use in here. Let's go ahead and create a new script inside opt scripts, and I'll name it docker backup.sh. Let's go ahead and define the environment that this is going to run in. Do a quick shebang bin environment bash, and let's make this not fail quietly by doing a quick set EEUO pipe fail. All right, let me go ahead and define my variables. And let's place our backups somewhere safe. And let's define our rclone remote. And now we need to set retention days. And this is important because we don't want our bucket to fill up with 1,000 files in the future. So this can be maintainable. I'm going to set a retention for 14 days, which means after 14 days, older backups will start removing themselves automatically. All right, let's make sure that the backup directory always exists. And let's create a timestamp, which is going to be the current day. Now, our backup file can be something like this. And our compressed file. Awesome. Now, locally, I would like to store it inside the backup dir. Let's go ahead and echo out some logs. and start executing our docker command. So docker exec, like we discussed before, and then in here you can do a new line, container name, let's run pgdump using the db user, on the db name. Then we can pipe that into gzip. Whoops, sorry about that. Into our local path. Right, so once this is done, we can echo out a backup created. Inside this path. And that's really neat. So if we run this quickly, do a quick, first of all, well, we need to make it executable. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's run it now. And as you can see, I have an invalid option name on line 4. So let's go ahead and do a quick edit and see what's going on there. And here I have pipe file instead of pipe fail. So excuse me for that. Let's quickly fix it. And now we can run it again. Awesome. Now we have our backup side here. Alright, so now we have our backups running. Let's go ahead and upload them to rclone. So let's do a quick uploading using rclone, and do like we did before, rclone copy, and then from our local path into our remote path. I think, have we defined that anywhere? Let's see. Yes, it's rclone remote. Rclone remote. Whoops, sorry about that. Now we can echo out that upload has completed. Let's quickly test that. As you can see, upload has completed, which means I should be able to see it in here once I sync my files. Let's go ahead and try to do that. So we have jury DP and we have the dump in here. Great. Now, what's left is just doing a quick cleanup. So let's do cleaning up old local backups. And do find anything in backup directory that is a file with the name of wildcard.dump.gz, and that's older than our retention days, and then we delete. And now let's do a quick cleanup completed and a quick backup finished successfully. And that should be it actually. So let's go ahead and run it. Awesome. Now we have a fully working backup script. Now it's time to automate this backup script. Let's go ahead and do a daily cron. To do that, all you need to do is just do a cron tab -e, and what we can do is just do quickly every day at 1:30 a.m. So basically 30 in the minutes, 1 in the hours, and then a wild star for each month, day of the week, and day of the month. So this will make our backup run every day at 1:30 a.m. And now we can do /opt scripts docker backup, and let's log it out to var log docker backup.log and do a quick pipe fail, and this will let all logs be saved inside this file in here, which is really nice. Now let's save that, and now we have a daily running cron on our database. There is a much better way to do this. What we can do is we can leverage SimpleBackups. It automatically solves all of this, and also it gives you access to all of what we did, plus it's simpler and it alerts you when something's wrong. So let's go ahead and quickly create a backup on SimpleBackups. Let's go ahead and click on set up your first backup. It's our on self-hosted VPS, and it's a database backup. Alright, let's go ahead and create a new server connection. Copy this little script right here, paste it into our server. Now we can validate the connection. And from here, we can select a Docker container, and this will actually do a lookup on all of our Docker containers. So for me, I want to back up this one. Let's save it and do a quick connection. Let's load our available databases and select the jury database. You can also here set up excludes. So in my case, I want to exclude a few databases that I don't want to be included in the backup because they're not that important. I want to do the events table and the session table. And now we can validate this backup, and we can select our Backblaze storage. Plus, we can replicate it to a simple storage. So now, instead of having 2 copies, we have 3. And from here, we can use our simple strategy, high frequency data strategy, or grandfather, father, son strategy, which I like the most. And you can also just do whatever scheduling you like. And you can also enable encryption. Quickly go ahead and create our backup. And do a quick little run. Alright, after a while, the backup has finished, and we can quickly access it from our logs, clicking on it and downloading it. You can try SimpleBackups for free for 7 days, no credit card required. Please visit the link in the description below and give it a try. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.